That year, I was still in my senior year of high school. Only my mom and I lived at home. Mom was usually busy with work. Sometimes after school, I would walk to my friend's house with my friends. And we would do homework together, chat, and listen to music. Mom always patiently came to pick me up at my friend's house after work. My friend lived closer to school, so it only took us about 10 minutes to walk there. As we walked and chatted, it felt like no time had passed. But it was different for my home. From school to my home, it took about 15 minutes by bike. Before my mom changed jobs, she used to pick me up from school on her bike, but then she started working in another city. On weekdays, by the time I got ready for school in the morning, Mom had already left for work. But she always left some pocket money on the living room table for me. Apart from using it for breakfast, I saved almost all of it. My friend's mom was also very nice. I never had to worry about food when I went to her house. Whether we were hungry or not, there would always be fruits and snacks on the table, and a water dispenser to quench our thirst. So, on holidays, I almost always went to her house. Maybe because my friend and I were both well behaved, Mom got used to it too. After finishing homework with my friend, it was our most relaxed time. We would snack, listen to music we both liked, sing together, or just chat. It always felt like Mom was there to pick me up too soon. Since our area was a bit suburban, whenever my friend and I made plans to go out on weekends, we would meet at a bus stop near her house, and then head to the city center together. One day, Mom came to pick me up from my friend's house after work, and took me to a supermarket on the way. She wanted me to pick out some microwave meals. Usually, this meant she was going on a trip again, and wouldn't be back for a few days. So, I also picked out some food my friend liked, thinking I could bring it to her house, and we could microwave it whenever she felt hungry. The day after Mom left, before school, I told my friend not to cook dinner that night, as I would stop by home first to grab some microwave meals before heading to her house. After school, I took the bus straight home, hastily took a shower, grabbed a few microwave meals, put them in a bag, and as I was about to lock the door and leave, I noticed our scooter parked next to the house. It was the one my mom used to ride to work, and also for grocery shopping. Suddenly, I remembered Mom's warning, never to ride the scooter under any circumstances. She was worried something might happen to me. But despite being usually obedient, for some reason, at that moment, I felt a surge of recklessness. I thought riding the scooter to my friend's house would be more convenient, no need to wait for the bus, and it would be faster, just a quick ride compared to the bus, which had to make multiple stops. With the key to the house in my hand, I unlocked the door again, and went to the cabinet in the living room, grabbed Mom's scooter key, and walked out to lock the door behind me. Excitedly, I hopped on the scooter and put on the helmet, and off I went to my friend's house. I regretted my decision deeply afterward. If I hadn't ridden the scooter to my friend's house that night, I wouldn't have encountered something strange on the road. I left around 6:30 to 7 p.m., the autumn night was pleasantly cool. I took a route that I normally didn't take by bus, but it was the route my mom often took when she picked me up. Maybe because when Mom drove me, I never paid much attention to the surroundings, I wasn't familiar with the area around that route, I only vaguely knew to follow it until I saw a fruit store on the right. I was in a hurry to get to my friend's house. Before they got hungry, from my house to my friend's house, there was a dark road I had to pass through. After that, we would be close to the city center, but there were very few street lights on that road. At the beginning of that road, there were still cars passing by frequently, but gradually, I think because I was following the tail light in front of me, thinking about what food to give to whom, or whether to buy a drink for them, I gradually became absent-minded. Riding and riding, I didn't know how long it had been, until suddenly I realized, why did it suddenly become so cold here? When I came to my senses, I found that everything around me had turned dark. So, I immediately pulled over to the side, to confirm if I had taken a wrong turn. I glanced around, and found that I didn't recognize this place at all. I had never been here before. It seemed like a deserted area, with street lights far apart, and no buildings around, just like a wilderness. But the scooter's tail light, far ahead, seemed to still be moving forward. I didn't dare to follow it anymore. I started to feel something was off. It was too quiet, so I decided to turn back, to get out of there quickly. When I turned around, I suddenly noticed a girl standing on the opposite side of the road. She had long hair reaching her chest, and she wore what seemed like a school uniform, but I couldn't see her lower half clearly, because she was standing in a spot where the street light barely reached. In the dim light, I could vaguely see her pale figure. She was about 6 cars away from me. Why didn't I see her just now? And there's no bus stop around where she's standing. Is she waiting for someone to pick her up? Thinking of this, although curious, I had to quickly turn around and find my way back. After making sure there were no cars coming from the opposite direction, I turned the scooter around at the gap in the median. As soon as I turned, my eyes involuntarily looked back in the girl's direction. She was gone. She was there just a second ago. I was sure there was a girl standing there. Even if she left, I should still be able to see her figure. But there was no one on the sidewalk. I thought, maybe I just saw a ghost. At that moment, I was so nervous that I twisted the throttle to the maximum, trying to quickly escape from that scary place. But as I passed where she originally stood, I caught a glimpse of her again, standing there, as rigid as before. Although I had the urge to turn back and check, I didn't. I dared not. At that moment, a strange conclusion suddenly flashed in my mind. Was she trying to hitch a ride? This thought terrified me, and suddenly, the scooter felt heavier, as if someone was sitting on the back seat. I was on the verge of tears, even though I had the throttle at full. I kept twisting it down with my right hand. I was really scared at that moment. I didn't even dare to glance at the rearview mirror, afraid that someone was indeed sitting behind me. I kept riding without letting go of the throttle, until I approached the bustling area of the corner. The oppressive feeling gradually faded away. After turning left and reaching a crowded place, I finally dared to wave my hand backward, to make sure there was nothing on the back seat. In less than a minute of riding, I saw the fruit store. It turned out, just before reaching the fruit store on the way here, there was a fork in the road, and I accidentally took the left one. And that road, on a Saturday morning, my friend and I once went there to explore, and found out it was a road leading to a cemetery.